Hello again, friends, and welcome back to another video of Amanda Gets Excited About Books. Once again, we have a box of brand new books that has just come into the library, and I'm going to open it up and share my excitement about all of these great titles with all of you by showing you everything that is in this box. As always, you can sign into the catalog right now when this video is over or anytime to place holds on any of the items that you're going to see coming out of this box. You can place holds on all of them right now, and as soon as they are all cataloged and processed and ready, we will let you know so you can check them out. Also, all of the books and all of the titles that have been in all of these unboxing videos are in book lists in our catalog. When you're on the main page of the catalog, on the right-hand side, there's an option that says book lists. If you go there, you can see lists of all of the titles that were in each of these videos, and you can place holds right from those lists. There are some other great lists there as well, some read-alikes for popular authors, and some other recommendations, and a great way to sort of browse and find new titles. So please do check out those book lists in the catalog. Now that that housekeeping is out of the way, let's see what's in this box because I can't wait to take a look, and I hope you're as excited as I am. Our first title is a picture book. This is called Bun Heads, and this is by Misty Copeland. So you know it's going to be an exciting read about ballet and about the process of becoming a ballerina, since it's written by someone who has been through that and who knows how all of that works. And this is sort of a story about Misty as a young girl and her discovering her love of dance and sort of how she gets her start in ballet. So this will certainly be a great one to check out and share with any young dancers or just any young people in your life. We have another picture book in here. This is called Robo Baby. This is by David Weissner, and this is about a robot baby. This is Robo Baby, the #1 supplier of babies. Place your order and the baby will arrive in a custom container with easy to follow assembly instructions. For the best in robot babies, call Robo Baby. Next up, we have The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson. And this is Stranger Things meets World War Z in The Loop, a conspiracy thriller set in a sleepy tourist town in the Pacific Northwest that also happens to be home to a biotech firm. When Turner Falls is ravaged by an inexplicable outbreak that causes the infected to become overcome by fits of rage, a group of local misfits struggles to survive the night and expose the corporate corruption that destroyed their home. That is The Loop. Our next title is Happily This Christmas by Susan Mallory. I don't know how we have Christmas titles coming out already. I am still very much in denial of how close to the holiday season we are, but they're starting, and this is sure to be one that people will be excited about. Everyone loves a good Susan Mallory book. And this is about Wynn, who has a thriving business, a great kid, and a mildly embarrassing crush on the guy next door, local cop Garrick. She's a strong, independent woman who can't help dreaming what if about a man she barely knows, until he needs her help. How is he going to need her help this Christmas season? How is the Christmas season going to potentially bring these two together? You will have to read Happily This Christmas to find out. Oh my gosh, I love the title of this book. I think this looks like so much fun. This is Donut, Feed the Squirrels. This is by Mika Song, and this is a junior graphic novel about a couple of crazy squirrels or chipmunks and their search for a donut because they really, really want a donut. And so they are going to try and steal the biggest, most delicious donut of their tiny lives from a local food truck. Will they be successful? You'll have to read it and find out. Our next title is The End of the Day, and this is by Bill Clegg. And this book is about a retired widow in rural Connecticut who wakes to an unexpected visit from her childhood best friend, whom she hasn't seen in 49 years. A man arrives at a Pennsylvania hotel to introduce his estranged father to his newborn daughter and finds him collapsed on the floor of the lobby. A 67-year-old taxi driver receives a phone call from the mainland that jars him back to a traumatic past. These seemingly disconnected lives come together as half-century-old secrets begin to surface. It is in this moment that Bill Clegg reminds us how choices to connect, to betray, to protect become our legacy. How do these stories tie together? I know I'm interested to find out. This sounds like a great read, also one that might be a good book club pick. This is The End of the Day. Oh boy, I'm sure there's people out there that are super excited about this. I know I'm super excited about this. This is The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan. This is the final book in the Trials of Apollo series. So if you've been following Apollo's journey after he was exiled from Olympus and forced to live as a mortal on Earth, and his attempts to get back into his father Zeus's good graces while traveling with demigod Meg and everyone else that they're encountering, you are absolutely going to want to pick up this final volume and see how Apollo manages to get out of the mess that he's in, or if he manages to get out, and what is going to happen during this final battle to triumph over the triumvirate of Roman emperors. So do not miss The Tower of Nero. Up next, we have a new Nicholas Sparks title. This is called The Return. Trevor Benson never intended to move back to New Bern, North Carolina. But when a mortar blast outside the hospital where he worked sent him home from Afghanistan with devastating injuries, the dilapidated cabin he'd inherited from his grandfather seemed as good a place to regroup as any. Tending to his grandfather's beloved beehives, Trevor isn't prepared to fall in love with a local. Yet from the very first encounter, Trevor feels a connection with Deputy Sheriff Natalie Masterson that he can't ignore. But even as she seems to reciprocate his feelings, she remains frustratingly distant, making Trevor wonder what she's hiding. Will these two find love, and what will happen with Trevor's story? Check out The Return to find out. Oh, I am so excited that this is in. This is absolutely a book that I am on hold for. Surprise, surprise, it's a mystery. Amanda wants to read it. Who would have guessed? This is Premeditated Myrtle, which, first of all, I love the pun in this title so much. And I believe the rest of the series is going to have similar titles with similar puns. This is by Elizabeth C. Bunce, and this is the start of a middle grade mystery series about 12-year-old Myrtle Hardcastle, who has a passion for justice and a highly unconventional obsession with criminal science. Armed with her father's law books and her mom's microscope, Myrtle studies toxicology, keeps abreast of the latest developments in crime scene analysis, and observes her neighbors in the quiet village of Swinburne, England. When her next-door neighbor, a wealthy spinster and eccentric breeder of rare flowers, dies under mysterious circumstances, Myrtle is sure Miss Woodhouse has been murdered. With her unflappable governess, Miss Ada Judson, by her side, Myrtle takes it upon herself to prove the crime and find Miss Woodhouse's killer. You will definitely want to check out Premeditated Myrtle if you enjoy mysteries with young protagonists who are plucky and a bit unconventional. I know I'm on hold for this. You'll want to check it out as well. Next up, we jump to a very different kind of book. This is Whale Day by Billy Collins, and this is a collection of poems from someone that the Wall Street Journal referred to as America's favorite poet. This new collection brings together more than 50 poems and showcases the deft mixing of the playful and the serious that has made Billy Collins one of our country's most celebrated and widely read poets. So if you are interested in poetry at all, it's definitely a slim volume, but I'm sure has a wonderful mix of a variety of different types of poems and would be definitely something to check out for a change of pace from maybe your usual novel reading. This is Whale Day. Oh goodness, okay, more to get super excited about. This is Class Act. This is by Jerry Craft. This is the follow-up to New Kid, which was the first graphic novel to ever win the Newbery Award. This is another middle grade graphic novel about 8th grader Drew Ellis, who is no stranger to the saying, "You have to work twice as hard to be just as good." His grandmother has told him that his entire life. But lately he's been wondering, even if he works 10 times as hard, will he have the same opportunities that his privileged classmates at the prestigious Riverdale Academy Day School take for granted? To make matters worse, Drew begins to feel as if his good friend Liam might be one of those privileged kids. He wants to pretend like everything is fine, but it's hard not to withdraw, and even their mutual friend Jordan doesn't know how to keep the group together. As the pressures mount and he starts to feel more isolated than ever, will Drew find a way to bridge the divide so he and his friends can truly see and accept each other? And, most important, will he finally be able to accept himself? This is sure to be an amazing read that everyone of all ages will want to take a look at. New Kid was incredible, and this follow-up is sure to be just as good. Our next title is Hench. This is by Natalie Zena Walschatz, and this sounds like a bit of a hoot. This is about Anna, who does boring things for terrible people because even criminals need office help, and she needs a job. Working for a monster lurking beneath the surface of the world isn't glamorous, but is it really worse than working for an oil conglomerate or an insurance company? As a temp, Anna's just a cog in the machine, but when she finally gets a promising assignment, everything goes very wrong, and an encounter with the so-called hero leaves her badly injured. And, to her horror, compared to the other bodies strewn about, she's the lucky one. So of course, then she gets laid off. With no money and no mobility, and only her anger and internet research acumen, Anna discovers that her suffering at the hands of a hero is far from unique. When people start listening to the story that her data tells, she realizes that she might not be as powerless as she thinks. Because the key to everything is data, knowing how to collate it, how to manipulate it, and how to weaponize it. By tallying up the human cost these caped forces of nature wreak upon the world, she discovers that the line between good and evil is mostly marketing. And with social media and viral videos, she can control that appearance. It's not too long before Anna's employed once more, this time by one of the worst villains on Earth. As she becomes an increasingly valuable lieutenant, she might just save the world. This is Hench. This sounds like an absolute hoot. I definitely want to read this one. I always love things that play with the superhero trope and turn things on its head a little bit, as much as I love the classic hero and villain superhero stories as well, so I know this is one I would like to take a look at. Don't miss Hench. Up next, we have a new Fern Michaels book. This is called The Brightest Star. This is another one that, how is Christmas as close as it is? How are we getting Christmas titles? I don't know, but here is another one. Christmas is more than just a celebration for Lauren Montgomery. For generations, it's been her family's livelihood. Their Christmas shop, Razzle Dazzle Decor, has seen seasonal fads come and go, but there's one trend they can't escape. Online superstores are swallowing their sales, and this Christmas season will need to be their best ever if the store is to stay in business. To help keep the shop afloat, Lauren also has a sideline writing biographies for business figures. She's thrilled when her literary agent contacts her with a new proposal, before learning that the subject will be none other than John Gerald Giampolo. He's the titan behind globalgoods.com, the online retailer that has spelled doom for hundreds of small businesses just like Razzle Dazzle Decor. Despite her misgivings, Lauren travels to Seattle to confer with the mogul and is caught off guard when his son, John Jr., attends the meeting too. Handsome, intelligent, and deeply kind, he's perfect. apart from the fact that he's part of the company threatening everything Lauren loves. Will these two end up together? What will happen over this holiday season? You will have to read The Brightest Star to find out. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Up next is another one that I am so excited to share with you. This is Dear Justice by Nick Stone. If you are not reading Nick Stone's books, why? She is incredible. She's written quite a few young adult titles and at least one middle grade title as well. Her writing is extraordinary and wonderful, and she truly captures the life of young people in a way that just is impossible to describe. This is the follow-up to her very well received title, Dear Martin, which we read for Breakfast with a Book a little ways back. So if you've attended that group, you've read Dear Martin. This is the follow-up to that. And this is about Vernell Laquan Banks, who grew up a block away from where Justice grew up in the southwest Atlanta neighborhood of Wynwood Heights. Years later, though, Justice walks the illustrious halls of Yale University, and Quan sits behind the bars at the Fulton Regional Youth Detention Center. Through a series of flashbacks, vignettes, and letters to Justice, Quan's story takes form. Troubles at home and misunderstandings at school give rise to police encounters and tough decisions. But then there's a dead cop and a weapon with Quan's prints on it. What leads a bright kid down a road to a murder charge? Not even Quan is sure. This is sure to be an incredibly powerful read. I can't wait to sit down and read this one, and I highly recommend that you put your name on the list for this as well. Our next title is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and this is a title that has an incredibly interesting sounding premise. I think this will be a fascinating read. I know I would like to read this one. In a moment of desperation in France in 1714, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she is determined to find excitement and satisfaction in the wide, beckoning world, even if she will be doomed to be alone forever. Or not quite alone, as every year on her birthday, the alluring Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she is ready to give up her soul. Their darkly thrilling game stretches through the ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses oceans and tries on various lives. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name. And suddenly, everything changes again. Wow, does this sound amazing. I cannot wait to read this. Up next, we have another Christmas title, How. This is the newest Joanne Fluke book. This is Christmas Cupcake Murder. And our protagonist, Hannah Swenson, is speeding through a lengthy holiday checklist while drama in town grows like Santa's waistline on Christmas Eve. Her sister Andrea wants to stave off the blues by helping out at the cookie jar. Michelle's love life is becoming complicated. Lisa needs Hannah's advice, and Dolores has a Christmas secret she's not willing to share. But nothing dampens the holiday mood more than the chilling mystery surrounding the man found near death in an abandoned storefront 2 doors down from Hannah's bakery. The befuddled John Doe can't recall a thing about himself except for his unusual knowledge of restoring antique furniture. With a smattering of clues and barely enough time to frost Christmas cookies, Hannah must solve a deadly puzzle that could leave her dashing through the snow for her life. If you are a fan of the Hannah Swenson mysteries, you will not want to miss this newest installment, Christmas Cupcake Murder. Ooh, this is a hefty one, our next title here. This is Solutions and Other Problems by Allie Brosh. And this is the same creator as Hyperbole and a Half, if you have ever taken a look through that. It's hilarious. This is described as, imagine if David Sedaris could draw. And this is a series of very entertaining cartoons and illustrations to just kind of take a look and poke fun at everyday life and just a number of situations and weird things. This is sure to be incredibly entertaining and hilarious to read. Do not miss Solutions and Other Problems. Up next is another title that I am so excited to sit down and read. This is A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and this is a title that has been getting all kinds of buzz and positive press. I've been hearing nothing but good things about this book. This is the story of an unwilling dark sorceress who is destined to rewrite the rules of magic. I decided that Orion Lake needed to die after the second time he saved my life. Everyone loves Orion Lake. Everyone else, that is. As far as I'm concerned, he can keep his flashy combat magic to himself. I'm not joining his pack of adoring fans. I don't need help surviving the schoolmance, even if they do. Forget the hordes of monsters and cursed artifacts. I'm probably the most dangerous thing in the place. Just give me a chance and I'll level mountains and kill untold millions, make myself the Dark Queen of the world. At least that's what the world expects. Most of the other students in here would be delighted if Orion killed me like one more evil thing that's crawled out of the drains. Sometimes I think they want me to turn into the evil witch they assume I am. The school certainly does. But the schoolmance isn't getting what it wants from me, and neither is Orion Lake. I may not be anyone's idea of the shining hero, but I'm going to make it out of this place alive, and I'm not going to slaughter thousands to do it either. Although I'm giving serious consideration to just one. This is going to be the start of a series that I'm sure is going to just take off like wildfire. I cannot wait to read this. You absolutely should put your name on this. This is sure to be a title to watch. Speaking of books that I'm so excited about and have been hearing nothing but good things about, this is Twins by Varian Johnson and Shannon Wright. And this is the start of a middle grade graphic novel series about Maureen and Francine Carter, who are twins and best friends. They participate in the same clubs, enjoy the same foods, and are partners on all their school projects. But just before the girls start 6th grade, Francine becomes Fran, a girl who wants to join the chorus, run for class president, and dress in fashionable outfits that set her apart from Maureen, a girl who seems happy to share only 2 classes with her sister. Maureen and Francine are growing apart, and there's nothing Maureen can do to stop it. Are sisters really forever, or will middle school change things for good? This is another title that I know I'm on hold for. I cannot wait to read. You'll definitely want to take a look at this one as well. This is Twins. And our final title in this box is another one that has been getting so much positive press. I am so excited to read this one, and I think you should be as well if you've seen any reviews or any buzz about this. This is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, and this is described as Rear Window meets Get Out. Sydney Green is Brooklyn born and raised, but her beloved neighborhood seems to change every time she blinks. Condos are sprouting up like weeds, for sale signs are popping up overnight, and the neighbors she's known all her life are disappearing. To hold on to her community's past and present, Sydney channels her frustration into a walking tour and finds an unlikely and unwanted assistant in one of the new arrivals to the block, her neighbor Theo. But Sydney and Theo's deep dive into history quickly becomes a dizzying descent into paranoia and fear. Their neighbors may not have moved to the suburbs after all, and the push to revitalize the community may be more deadly than advertised. When does coincidence become conspiracy? Where do people go when gentrification pushes them out? Can Sydney and Theo trust each other or themselves long enough to find out before they too disappear? Oh my goodness, this sounds so good. I can't wait to read this. Make sure you put your name on hold for When No One Is Watching. And that is it for this box. Thank you so much for sticking with me and going through all of the incredible titles that were coming in this box. I can't even believe how many things are in here that I know I'm on hold for or can't wait to read or I'm so excited about. I hope you are sharing in some of that excitement. Please do jump on, take a look at the book list, sign into the catalog, request any of these titles that you want. I'm sure there's quite a few because who wouldn't want to read all of the incredible books in this box? Thank you so much again. I can't wait to see you for our next unboxing, and thanks again for joining me.